What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark, MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today we're going to talk about a classic. I love this movie. I just love when people try to, I just love things having to do with this place, this specific place. This is Escape from Alcatraz. This is the 45th anniversary of Escape from Alcatraz. This movie premiered in 1979. It stars Clint Eastwood. And yes, I love movies about The Rock, and I cannot wait for the anniversary of The Rock. I'm sort of like sandwiched in between, but I love the movie. I actually had taken a trip to San Francisco almost the exact same time that movie was opening. It was like the same summer, maybe like the week before it opened, and there was like promo, like you could feel like people were like more interested because of the build up to that film, like the previews and everything, and people talking about The Rock. So, yeah, it was certainly a thing. But I like these movies and Birdman of Alcatraz and stuff like that. So this is Clint Eastwood plays Frank. This movie does have audio description. I got it in the Apple Store when it was on sale, so you can just easily rent/acquire this yourself if you want. I don't know if it streams anywhere, but I just bought it. I was like, this movie's great. So Clint Eastwood plays Frank. He's a criminal who's brought in at the beginning of the film. And the audio description is really great on some of the things here where it dips in. There are like little moments where he has this meeting with like the warden towards the beginning of the film, where the warden's trying to, I'm like, does the warden do this like one-on-one with everybody? Like now I think about these things like as I grow older and I don't know, more like a film Grinch or something like that. It's like, does he really speak one-on-one with every single inmate that comes into the Rock? Or maybe it's so rare that people actually, because like I think Frank is like taken there by himself. Like it's not like an influx of inmates, you know. He's just singularly brought in. It's like, oh man, you got sent to the Rock? Oh damn. Uh, so has this meeting with the warden, and the warden's trying to give him the what for, and there's a file on the desk that is Frank's file, and it says his intelligence superior. I'm like, well, that's a interesting bit of knowledge, is to know that moving forward that he's already been ranked as having superior intelligence, which I'm guessing the warden does not have, because in that scene, Frank also steals some nail clippers, which will become sort of integral as the movie progresses. But yeah, for 1979, the movie tackles a lot of things, but not in a way that necessarily ever reflects in a way where you're like, ooh, well, that no, we can't do that anymore, or oh my god. Like there's a little bit of racial tension, but there's a little bit of racial tension in general, because there's this giant man wolf who keeps trying to attack Frank, and Frank just keeps outsmarting him and beating every time wolf tries to make Frank his bitch. Frank's like, nah, and I think it's perceived then, and Frank has this like relationship back and forth with English, the guy that runs the library, and like you could tell that anytime they talk about it, that it's not really serious. It's just Frank's just like, yeah, whatever. He's he always feels like he's just there getting knowledge, and he's asking people questions. So he just tells people either what they want to hear, need to hear. He doesn't push back unless he has to. So, not really there to make waves. But all of this sort of leads to eventually two brothers are sent to Alcatraz that knew Frank from another jail, and they were sent to Alcatraz because they tried to escape from other places, which sort of helps put Frank on this path forward because he thinks he has a way out. And that leads to the title, Escape from Alcatraz. So you meet sort of interesting characters along the way. You get to see some, I don't know, random mistreatment in the prison of, being locked in cell block D, and it being dark, and there's why is there always a prisoner with a mouse? Like maybe maybe Stephen King put that in The Green Mile as an homage at this point. I don't know, but there's a prisoner here who has a pet mouse, which is I'm trying to find the first iteration of this because this is in 1979, so this was before Stephen King ever wrote The Green Mile or it was ever adapted into a movie. So I guess prisoners just keep mice as pets. I don't know. I don't know what that is, but um, yeah, it's still a good movie. It's still an action packed, nice tight 2 hour movie, and I still enjoyed it. I think the audio description here was pretty good. It pointed out a lot of the things that needed to happen, a lot of the tension having to do with the breakout, the specifics. Um, a lot of the stuff I remember from back in the day, watching this on like AMC and being like, "What? This movie's pretty good." It's weird that it's not directed by Clint Eastwood. Like he just happens to be here as an actor. There's so many like little digs too. There's a moment where like they have to watch a movie and like the men are bemoaning the fact that it's a Western, and I'm like, this is hilarious because it's Clint Eastwood. They're like, I don't know, some shitty Western. I was like, yeah, probably some shitty Western with that. What was that one guy who started all those Western movies? What's it, Westwood? I don't know. Guy's an asshole. Uh, but no, I love that sort of like little line. I kind of feel like, you throw those little digs in there and they're giggling lines when you see sort of like what they're saying. And Clint has to be in there as Frank being like, yeah, I don't know, those Westerns, yeah, I hate them. It's like, I'm sure you do. Your entire career has been built around them. Um, but no, he does a good job here. And I this is a question, when I say, has the film stood the test of time? I don't know. Because I don't know how many people actually talk about this film or remember this film. I think this is probably a film that's maybe fading away. And I kind of wish it wouldn't, because it's pretty decent, but also at the same time, I just don't think the kids these days, I just don't think they're talking about it. I just don't really remember the movie because it stars Clint Eastwood, not directed by Clint Eastwood. It doesn't have one of those things where people go back through and they look at filmographies and they're like, ooh, well, let's see the films of Clint Eastwood. Because usually you don't do that for actors. You're not like as interested to see the films he's acted in as you are the films he's directed. So I don't even know from a film perspective if this film is going to be relevant at all. So I would say probably not. I don't think this film is standing the test of time. And if anything, I think it's going to continue to sort of fade more and more away, which is why I bothered to tell you about it, is because I think it's a good movie and I think you should watch it. So 45th anniversary, this movie is older than I am. So give it a once over, give it a look see. It's got audio description and it's got everything you need. And it's a pretty tight action thriller. So pretty well made for 1979. I think it still holds up. Definitely, I've seen worse I've seen movies that are, celebrating their 40th anniversary that feel older and more worn than this. So, I mean, it's holding up pretty well. So, that's it. I'm going to give Escape from Alcatraz an A-. I think it's a strong movie. I think it's fun, and it's a good bet to place your rocks on. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the other side.